Hey, Ebro.
Yes.
Don't know if you know this. Today is election day.
Yes.
And it is time to make decisions, my friend.
Yeah, we have a gentleman running for control. Do you say controller or comptroller?
Comptroller.
It is comptroller.
Told you.
All right, comptroller it is. Scott Stringer's here, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for him. All right.
For joining us. Hey, can you first off explain to us what comptroller actually is and does?
The controller is the chief financial officer of the city, so you watch the money, you follow the money, but you also make sure that the people in the city get listened to. You watch and make sure that the mayor's doing the right thing.
Well, because it's the taxpayer money that you're using to pay the bills. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely, and part of what your job is to make sure that the money's going to the right places. So if you're concerned about education, you want your kids' education funded, controller's got to watch out for that. Affordable housing, the controller's got to watch out and making
See,
sure
now he's saying controller. He said comptroller up top, and now it's control. I can't decide. This is what confuses me.
Because maybe I'm speaking with that N, but it is an M.
It is, but
On the ballot will be comptroller.
Oh, but not P, not comptroller.
Comp with a P.
No, with a P.
With the P too.
Yeah.
All right. I guess
See,
it's casual. It's
maybe we're
confusing.
both kind of right.
We call it. We actually say Scott Stringer for comptroller.
Scott Stringer for controller.
There you go.
So you're watching the money. You're signing the checks.
You're signing the checks. You're paying the bills, but you're also auditing and investigating, making sure, for example, that outside consultants who are getting a lot of money for doing very little, you expose that, so you make sure at the Department of Education that money is actually
Well,
going.
let
to
me
the
stop you
classroom.
right there. Who has an outside consultant? I've never heard of this before. What do you mean?
Agencies hire outside consultants. The Department of Education hires outside technology consultants. Some of
Okay.
them have gotten in trouble. You've heard about City Time, right? Mm-hmm. That started at $70 million. Now it's $700 million. That's soaking the taxpayers of this city.
So that's money that taxpayers are putting up that they think should be going to fixing roads, potholes,
or
schools.
helping kids, building housing.
But it's actually going to a private company.
Who's spending way too much money for what they're actually doing.
You got it. So the controller has to be focused on that.
I know you obviously answer to the people, but who is also like in the relationship between you and the mayor, for example, who's sort of got the upper hand in that relationship?
Well, listen, the mayor is powerful, but the controller is the counterweight. So you have to be strong, as I have been when I've taken on Bloomberg. You got to be strong to stare down the mayor when he or she is doing the wrong thing.
See, but that's what they say about you, Scott, Mr. Stringer. They say you're a great guy, you're an honest guy, you're a nice guy. All positive stuff. You're endorsed by with the news, the Post, the Times, everybody. But they say you've never chopped anybody's fingers off for wrongdoing the way your counterpart or competitor has in Elliot Spitzer. He's got that reputation on you. How do you answer that?
Well, you got to do two things as controller. You got to work with the next mayor, because part of what you got to do is fight for the city's fiscal health, but you also have to be independent. Look, I've taken on the leaders of my own party in Albany when I ended empty seat voting in Albany. I've taken on the outside consultants at the Department of Education. I went through 3,700 elevator inspection reports and showed that NYCHA elevators were failing 75% of the time. I have been aggressive. I have been independent. That's why those editorial boards, the Amsterdam News, people like Hakeem Jeffries, Eric Adams, people of the community are supporting me because I have marched with folks. Look, I was one of the first people who looked like me who said, let's end stop and frisk.
You mean as a white guy?
As a white guy.
All right.
I supported the Inspector General bill in the City Council. My opponent, Spitzer, says we don't need an Inspector General. I fought and voted against the death penalty when I was in the State Assembly. My opponent was for the death penalty, putting innocent people to death for years. So let's break it down. He doesn't have a badge anymore, right? And when he had a badge, he used it irresponsibly. When he became governor, he failed as governor. Man, the job of control is to protect the pension money for 650,000 people. So I will put my record. Maybe I'm not as flashy. Maybe I haven't gotten myself into trouble. If that's the standard, then people should vote for him.
That is very in this year. I'm not going to lie. Now I know you're not allowed. I know you're not allowed to weigh in on the mayoral race, and you're neutral on it. But you have to admit, this is not support for the candidate.
No.
Dante's afro is unbelievable, and you have to at least be.
We call him, for the listener doesn't really know who Dante is, so we call him Afro Son. He's like a superhero.
Yeah, listen, I have a 20-month-old son, Max, and a 14-week-old son, Miles, and I'm trying to figure it out.
How you can make it happen?
Listen, I got to run for re-election.
Hurry up, kids! Grow your hair. Grow your hair.
Miles
Scott
and Max,
Stringers
Miles
needs
and Max. You'll see.
Miles and Max.
They're pretty cute, and I'm already working on it.
Wait, so your kids are super young, huh?
Why, are you saying I'm super old?
No, not at all.
You gave me that look.
No, I just mean,
Get him, Stringer.
It's a tiring job. It's a tiring job. And then you also have these little kids at home.
I do. I got the energy to do this job, man.
God bless you, because I don't have the energy to do this morning show.
Yo, now I have to admit, I'm a little biased when it comes to Scott Stringer because I know people on his staff. Because obviously they Manhattan Borough President, correct?
Hold on, this worries me. This makes me question him more. Well, who do you know on his staff?
Rosemond Pierre Lewis, I think.
No, Rosemond Pierre Louis. She is the
Rosemond Pierre
highest
Louis.
ranking Haitian.
I know her as well.
Deputy Borough President.
Yes.
And she's terrific.
She's a
and then also just like I see them out and about in the community.
You're mad because Spitzer went at Hot 97 before. I know what it is.
Rosemond Pierre Louis went at Hot 97 too.
Okay, that's true.
So
right.
Everybody's Hot 97 is the thing to go at.
Everyone
come visit when it's time to get in the office or make a name for yourself.
I've been here before I was running for anything.
All right.
On a positive note. Hold on, we got to ask you about some really important things, though.
Sure.
Obviously, you care about the Hot 97 listeners because you're here on Election Day to try to get them to come vote for you.
But the Hot 97 listeners care about what, Rosenberg?
They care about other things like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Have you ever watched an episode of Love and Hip Hop?
And who's your favorite character on Love and Hip Hop?
Listen, I don't watch anything right now except running with those kids. So
good answer.
Good answer. All right, safe.
Listen, for us, we don't want a controller who watches Love and Hip Hop anything.
No, but you should know that before you guys knew about rap and hip hop, I was a Curtis Blow guy.
Okay,
that's
you were a Curtis Blow fan back in the day.
Back when it all was beginning.
Wait, but you're from Uptown too, aren't you?
Washington Heights,
Kennedy
High School.
Have you been to La Marina yet to hang out on the weekend?
I can't disclose my personal
because it is popping.
The
Heights nice up there. All right, normally Rosenberg, this is your segment, but since it's the big voting day,
I'm going to pass it off today. We have candidate Scott Stringer. We're going to give you 30 seconds to 1 minute to tell New York City to kick the realness as to why you should be comptroller and not your opponent, Elliot Spitzer.
When I was growing up back in the day in Washington Heights, it was always a belief that anybody could get to where they have to be. And that stayed with me in the neighborhood. Elliot and I come from different places. He comes from Park Avenue. He operates.
Boo! Rich guy, boo!
He operates in a different world. Maybe he's writing a check for $10 million to fund this campaign from his real estate empire. Maybe once in a while, a guy who grew up in the neighborhood gets to beat the rich guy who's buying this election. Straight up, that's the issue. How many times can we let all these rich people come in, spend money, get elected? We've got to represent everyone in the city. Every kid should have an opportunity to do well, but they don't always have to come from Park Avenue. Every kid should have an opportunity. That's what I've been about. That's how I was raised in my neighborhood. And if I become controller, it will be history making, because sometimes you can beat the big guy, the powerful guy, the guy who thinks he's got all the resources. And that's what this race is about. And that's the realness.
Scott Stringer kind of bodied him. Kind of said he was a rich
Chill.
From Park Avenue who has no business running this town.
Why are you the guy on the sideline who's making the fight worse? It's cool. Everyone can make their decision today. Either way, make sure you head down and cast your vote.